CBS All Access is set to premiere its latest installment of Star Trek. It's called Star Trek Picard. Of course, the series follows Jean-Luc Picard as he journeys into the next chapter of his life.
CBS News contributor Jamie Wax sat down with Sir Patrick Stewart, who's reprising his role as the iconic character, and some other members of the cast. Just take a look.
I came here to find safety, but one is never safe from the past. I have an appointment.
Your name, please, sir?
Picard, P-I-C-A-R-D.
It's nice to see you up and around again.
There's so few times that you get to see an actor of Sir Patrick Stewart's caliber come back 20 years after to revisit somebody and tell new stories. And I think his both commitment to Picard itself and also a desire to do something completely different has made this an incredibly new, unique version of what we all love.
I was haunted by my past.
You've got several of your old friends returning and old storylines, some of the best metaphors that are very relevant for our time, your relationship with the Borg, things like that. Did you have any influence in saying, I'd love for these people or these storylines to come back?
The world has changed since we made Nemesis, the last of our Next Generation movies. It is a significantly and somewhat uncomfortable world to be in. And I'm thrilled that the show that we're doing will subtly, gently, I mean, we're not a political hammer, not remotely, but nevertheless, the world is not what it was at the time of Next Generation. I mean, the Star Trek world. And I think that what the writers and producers and directors and the cast have done is to suggest that without making it overwhelming. I am standing up for the Federation, for what it should still represent.
This is no longer your house, Jean-Luc. Go home.
I think the beating heart of Star Trek has always meant that you take these enduring long-term adventures with people.
Who are you looking for?
Someone who has no one else to help her.
We're in space, we're dealing with aliens, we're dealing with other isms, we're people who are not like us. Immigration, occupation, inclusion, exclusion.
I help people who have no one else to help them.
You're going to see an interesting twist on the Borg. You're going to see them in a very different light on our show. It reflects a lot of what we're seeing in society now. A lot of the outsiderness.
Find the truth.
The more people that draw reality from these shows, it creates a dialogue, it educates people, it just makes people more aware.
Jean-Luc. We did impact people's lives for the better.
What the hell are you doing out here, Picard? Saving the galaxy?
The emphasis on human potential, that humanity, whether it's presented as actual human beings or it has pointed ears or a horseshoe crab on its forehead or whatever, we have the potential if we just think about it and are rational and thoughtful and considerate and tolerate each other's differences and value each other's differences, that we can get ourselves out of this mess.
What have you gotten yourself into, Jean-Luc?
What is it about the Roddenberry legacy that you most want to protect, that you most admire?
For me, truly, the eternal optimism.
Engage. Thank you for not trying to talk me out of all this.
So CBS News contributor Jamie Wax joins us now to dish about the Star Trek Picard.
Make it so.
Yeah.
Make it so.
So it looks to me like Jean-Luc is a little resistant to returning to his old job. It looks like he's got a pretty nice life.
Yeah.
What about Patrick Stewart?
I think there's a parallel there for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the truth is everybody, Akiva Goldsman and Alex Kurtzman and Michael Chabon, everybody said that the fact he flat out said no multiple times made them keep going back to the drawing board and making it deeper, more complex, subtler, so that he actually made this show better by saying
now?
No. Yeah,
right,
that's it. And he also had the experience of getting a lot of acclaim and having a very good experience doing Logan, which is not a typical superhero film. And he realized that you could tell a story like this in a very different way, in a deeper, more character-driven way.
Right.
You know, I love that Michael Chabon is attached to this project because he's an accomplished author who, you know, first came to fame, The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, which is about superhero mythology. And what most people may not be aware of is that before he even became an author, he'd written fan fiction around Star Trek and submitted spec scripts for The Next Generation.
Both he and Akiva Goldsman, I mean, these guys have between them won every award a writer can write in their genres. Both of them were totally inspired by the original series. It taught them about metaphor and that you could tell a bigger story by telling something very specific and personal. They both said Star Wars had a huge impact on their writing as young men.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about the series and like who Picard is now at this moment in his life?
I mean, he's an older man. He's retired. He's hesitant to go back to work. I think a lot of this just came natural for them. But he's on the family vineyard. You know, all of you see those images and everything.
Yeah.
There's a lot I can't tell you because the premiere's in 2 days.
Right.
But I can tell you that what they showed in Hollywood at the premiere, they were going to show us the pilot. Instead, they showed us the first 3 episodes, and they say that's really the pilot. Like watch it unfold. So this unfolds more slowly. It's more of a single narrative. Vlad, I know you're a lifelong fan.
Yeah.
This is more of a single storyline than any series I think they've ever done.
A single narrative of Picard's life.
Yes, and of this specific adventure that he's going out on, and to try and make things right. It's very powerful storytelling.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Sounds good. Jamie, thank you so much.
Jamie.
Thanks so much.
We don't get to see Jamie often.
No, we don't.
I'm always happy to
a little
be
more,
here.
Jamie, a little more.
You got it.
Star Trek Picard premieres Thursday, January 23rd. You can stream the show exclusively on CBS All Access. Episodes will be available every Thursday.